As you start to work with layers more, one of the most common things that you'll be doing is creating new layers. So why not learn a few shortcuts which can help you out as it can speed up your workflow when it comes to creating new layers. Now we all know that you can create a new layer by clicking on the new layer icon at the bottom of the layers panel. We can delete layers by pressing delete or backspace. Yet you can also create a new layer by using a keyboard shortcut combination, and here it is. If you want to retouch something in your image, for example, like remove this tree, you might want to create a new layer, and you would want to create a new layer by pressing Shift-Command-N on a Mac or Shift-Control-N on Windows. This will open up the new layer dialog, and you would want to include this dialog so that you could then include the word retouching so that you could name that layer. You can also specify a certain color for the layer if you wanted to give it a color, or you could choose a blending mode and the layer opacity. Well, here I'll leave it at 100% and just simply click OK in order to create this new layer. Now on this new layer, I could select one of my retouching tools like this one here and choose to sample all layers. Next, I'll press the right bracket key to make my brush bigger, and I'll just paint over this area in order to retouch that tree out of the image. Now what's happened is that all of the retouching has now been done on a separate layer. And the great thing about this, obviously, is that this is non-destructive. We can always turn off the visibility of this layer in order to undo that. Another way that you can create a new layer without seeing the layer dialog is by pressing a similar shortcut. Remember, it was Shift-Command-N or Shift-Control-N in order to create a new layer with the dialog. Well, on a Mac, press Shift-Option-Command-N. On Windows, press Shift-Alt-Control-N in order to create a new layer without a dialog. And that's helpful in those situations where you don't really care what your layer is named. Now, if ever you want to go back and rename the layer, just double-click the layer name, and then here you could go ahead and type in a new name for that layer. Yet sometimes I find when I'm working and when I really want to be creative, I'll use that second shortcut, Shift-Option-Command-N on a Mac or Shift-Alt-Control-N on Windows, and I'll use that shortcut to quickly create a new layer, to test out an idea, and just to keep those creative juices flowing. Well, either way, you now know two shortcuts that you can use in order to create new layers more quickly.